When are we going to put a stop to this? Women are not equal to men. They're not. Maybe in things of intelligence and wisdom, because it's the brain. The brain is completely different. But in physicality, you are not equal to us. You are not. You are not. You are not. And this shit needs to stop. Women thinking that they can beat a man. Well, I want to go ahead and play this so y'all can see for yourselves.
All right, guys, so one of you sent me this video that I want to react to slash commentate on because it features the greatest female fighter, Miss Lucia Riker, who went like 54-0, okay, as a boxer against women. And then she all of a sudden decided to step in the ring with a man, right? An average trained man fighter. Not, a average Joe off the street like me and you, but an actual trained male fighter who's really not that good, okay? But she decided to step in the ring with him because, she was kind of feeling herself, right? And we're going to talk about what happened when she decided to do that. It should be no surprise to anybody with basic common sense and knowledge of how biology works. And this comes as, we have the whole Leah Thomas thing, the transgender woman, aka biological man, that is competing with biological women in swimming at the college level at UPenn. And unsurprisingly, Leia is dominating the sport, and that has caused a whole lot of controversy to the point where you have female teammates that have spoken out anonymously about this, saying that they don't like it, saying that they're being forced to be okay with it, even though they're not. You have a USA swimming official that has resigned in protest because of Leia Thomas dominating competition, basically saying that, hey, I don't like seeing biological men dominate women in sports. Okay, so again, there's a whole lot of controversy surrounding this, and I think it's good to go over a very well-made video.
Now, no, I want to talk, but no, let's just keep going. Let's just keep going.
Like this, that kind of shows the differences between men and women in sports, so that hopefully our society can get back to a place of common sense. I actually don't think it should be legal, right, for men and women to compete against each other in combat sports or sports that require athletic ability. I actually really don't think it should be legal. I think it's borderline domestic violence, in my opinion. Yep. Okay, that's just my opinion. But hey, I'm neither here nor there on that. So if they want to do it, they can do it. And the result will always basically be the same. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get in this video. And I will say, please check out the original version of this video. I'm gonna post a link in the description because it's very well made, and I want to make sure I give the original creator of this video credit for them creating this video. So the link will...
And in mine, I always post the links to the description of the actual videos that I'm reviewing. So you would have to go to his link go to his page in order to get the link for the actual original page. You know how it goes. It's like a mirror, just two mirrors put together, and it's just like an infinite amount of reviews between my channel or anybody else's channel. Mind you, I have just a very small channel, and I mean, it's gonna grow. I mean, once I actually push it more. Which I think after this video, I'm going to start posting the links on my Gab to get that page growing and to get more people to come over. But seriously, do women need to just keep getting beat up? I mean, you got a transgender person whipping, just women, women, biological women. You're not a woman. You are a man. You are a man. You are a man. I don't give a shit what you identify as. You are a fucking man beating women. I mean, do you really feel good about yourself? We're talking about if a man was to beat women at stuff. All of us men, all of us boys growing up would be like, wow, you feel really good about beating that girl in a race? Wow, you feel really good about that? That's how you're going to get your rocks off, is by beating a girl kind of thing. But now all of a sudden, because people can transition over, all of a sudden they get special treatment. They get treated differently. It's okay to beat a woman now because, they transitioned to a woman. No, you're still a man beating a woman. and I will call it out.
It'll be in the description if y'all want to check that out. Let's get into it.
Can the best female fighter defeat male fighters?
No.
No.
Right? I mean, the answer to that question is no, right? Maybe, I mean, she might better defeat, if we're talking about the average Joe on the street, maybe, right? Maybe. But we're talking about a decently trained male fighter, even if he's not good, even if he's one of the worst male fighters, no, right? It's just not going to happen. Okay, I don't care how good she is, in my opinion.
Yeah, she's the female boxer who was really the best in the world. Nobody wanted to fight Lucia Riker. So she was sparring with guys. I mean, she was probably the best female boxer ever.
Let me point something out to you for you people who don't fight, who don't know anything about fighting. I've been fighting in the martial arts since I was 5 years old. And sparring is sparring. It's like shadow boxing, except the other person is there and can hit you back. But we're not going full force. It's not an actual match. It's not an actual fight. It's just sparring. So for Dana White to, she was sparring with guys. Sparring. That's it. Not fighting, sparring. So let's make sure we clarify that, people.
And nobody knows who the hell she is.
Women fighting men is a very popular topic in combat sports. Years ago, media
not just in combat sports, in sports in general. Because we're going to get on that whole Serena Williams thing in a minute.
reported that Ronda Rousey could beat Floyd Mayweather in a fight.
And we all know how BS that was, right? Because
all right, I will personally admit, I was one of those people. I will admit, I'll raise my hand, I will admit. But we were talking about in the octagon. We're not talking about in a boxing ring, same with Conor McGregor. If this were to be in the octagon, Floyd Mayweather would get his ass handed to him by Conor McGregor. And it'd be the same thing, pretty much. I would see that Ronda Rousey would have a damn good chance of beating Floyd Mayweather if she got her hands on him. I mean, the mistake that she made was trying to go toe-to-toe in fighting with Holly Holmes and everything. But if this were to be which really actually, when I watched that fight, kind of pissed me off. It was like, what are you doing? Why are you trying to kickbox her? You're a judo person. But, all right.
Ronda Rousey went on to get her ass whooped by women, okay? And the women...
But yeah, that was because she changed her damn fighting style because she was being criticized for only winning with her technique, which is stupid because a win is a fucking win when you're actually fighting, unlike Floyd Mayweather, who basically would do tap, tap, and then run, and then cover up and shit. He'd cover up. He'd tap, tap, and he'd cover up. That's all he would do. I'm like, wow, you're not actually fighting. Ronda's actually beating these people. But she changed her technique, and look what happened.
Women that she got beat by look very, very much more manlier than she does, okay? Ronda Rousey got so tired of getting her butt whooped that she had to go to the WWE to do fake fighting, right? Because she just wasn't cut out for real fighting anymore, okay? This is the same person they said could possibly maybe beat Floyd Mayweather in a fight. Like, come on, man. Come on. The media hypes this stuff up.
All right,
try
let's
to
keep going.
Part of it is the whole gender thing, but also another portion of it is, well, men and women are just exactly equal for all things, right? They're equal, okay? Again,
we already know that's untrue. As I said, if this were to be about intelligence or wisdom, I will give you that because this is completely different than this. But, you know, somehow or another, these people are mixing this. This is the whole liberalism, diversity bullshit. We're all equal. No, we're not. We are not. Now, mind you, me and Polar Bear, we actually do some combat. Well, I haven't done it in a few years because, you know, recovering from a lot of damn surgeries and shit. But we do a lot of combat. And I'll tell you right now, when you're on the field with one of us, we don't give a fuck. We don't give a fuck if you got tits or not. if you're laying on the other side of that field against us, that ditch battle that we're about to do, we don't give a damn about male, female, big, tall, short, fat. We don't give a shit. We're gonna fuck you up. That's our goal, is to fuck you up. But one of the last times I went out, which was like, I think a week before my knee replacement surgery, it was a girl, and she was like, I'm scared. Against me. She was like, I'm scared. He looks like he's gonna hurt me. And they were like, oh, no, he's fine. Yeah, I know, I was gonna hurt you. Because if you're gonna be on the opposite side of that field when they say lay on, I'm gonna take you out. Because it's a combat sport. I'm not there to be gentle with you. If you're gonna be on that field to be equal to me, well, then I'm gonna treat you as a motherfucking equal.
It's nonsense.
Today, there are still a lot of speculations that Amanda Nunes could beat male champions.
Nobody speculate that except one
male champions. Remember that. That she could beat a male champion. Remember that they said that.
Revolutionaries, right? Nobody speculate that. She can't. She can't beat a male champion. Especially she can't even beat the average dude. Okay? It ain't gonna happen.
Well, this is literally the best female fighter of all time. And she actually fought a man. Nicknamed the Lady Tyson, Lucia Riker is a woman who conquered the world of kickboxing and boxing. During her reign across two sports, the media dubbed her as the most dangerous woman in the world. She hit so hard that in a sports science show, her punches exceeded the force of a male fighter by 200 pounds.
All right.
Polar Bear said it best. On the field, there's only one thing that matters, and that is how good you swing their weapon. Nothing else. That's right, your tits. None of that fucking... And I'll tell you right now, there were some girls out there. What the fuck was her name? Damn it, Polar Bear, help me out. Oh my God, what was her name? It was a white girl. She looked like an Amazon. She was almost my height, about 6 feet tall, beautiful Amazon, but had a huge chest. And she got her ass beat. And I'll tell you right now, her tits were a target. They were, because they stuck out. Sorry, they're there. So it's a target. So sure enough, when we're swinging that weapon, a lot of the time we were aiming for her chest because it stuck out. She had a big chest. So it's like, sweet, wow. It should be like, ah. It's like, well, you're dead. Gotcha. You know, gotcha, bitch. Your tits ain't off limits. They are a target. So, sorry. Combat sports, equal. We don't give a fuck.
Right. So, I mean, there's a whole lot that goes into force, right? I mean, really it's technique more than anything. But as you can see here, she's coming at this with a hook, okay?
Now, I pointed this out when I was watching this thing with B, this particular video. You can see where she's at. Look where she's at, right here. She's lined up right here, straight up and down, and coming at it with a hook. And she's twisting her hips. Watch.
Sports science show, her
This
punches
guy
exceeded the
is
force.
Now look at him. She was right here from the time I was a child in the martial arts. I was always taught you punch through your target, not to your target, through your target, which means if your target is here, you don't punch here. You punch here, and your goal is to move the target where you want to hit, where your force is ending. You don't punch here because then your force is only right here. That's all you're getting. You are punching here, out here. Let me move this out of the way. You are punching here. You mean you're getting all of this force to push the target there. That is what you are supposed to do in martial arts. That is what you're supposed to do in any boxing, unless you're doing a jab to actually just disorient. But when it comes to the power punch, you see when they miss. When they miss, that punch, the jab is here. That's a jab. But you see when they do their power punches, it is like, when it misses the target. When they're jabbing and it miss, it's like right here. When they're actually going to hit you, that bitch is over here. When they actually swing, it's going through where they were, you know, because they're punching through the target. But look where he is. You see where he's at? Now watch when he hits.
Coming more straight. Okay, so I don't know if this is an apples to oranges comparison here, to be quite honest with you. Because a straight punch is not going to be as forceful as a hook.
Of a male fighter
Now, look. You see that?
by 200.
And you see how the head only went to there? You see that? That's it. Now let's back up to when she hit it. Let's watch.
Show her
This
punch.
And you see how far that target moved because she punched through the target.
Exceeded
But
the
let's
force.
get
coming
back to
more
him.
straight. Okay, so I don't know.
But you see, she was standing right here and punching to get the target back here. She had all of that force. Now watch him.
This is an apples to oranges comparison here, to be quite honest with you. Because a straight punch is not going to be as forceful as a hook.
Of a male fighter by 200.
And you see that? His wrist buckled. And look, he's having to lean over diagonal. You see that? He's having to lean over. He didn't get twist of the hip because the power is supposed to come from your hip. That's exactly where it's supposed to come from. Whether it's a punch or a kick, it's supposed to come from everything that you deliver. And he only delivered with his arm. That's it. Just the arm. That's it.
100 pounds. A season.
See? Look at that. Look at the difference. Now I'll get him to do the same damn technique and watch. Or get her to do the same technique as him and watch.
Seasoned trainer
Yeah,
who got
it's
hit
not
by
the same
her
punch.
and another
Like-
Olympic male boxer said he couldn't tell the difference.
Again, watch. He holds back. You can tell. She's hitting to actually hit. Another thing that she did, which is actually dangerous, is she hit the solar plexus. That is actually pretty dangerous. Because if you break that little point right here, you break that, you could die. He hit here. So of course he's gonna say he couldn't tell the difference. But again, watch. She actually hits him. The guy holds back. Look at that. You can see his shoulder broke. His shoulder broke. He basically broke the momentum. He's doing this and his shoulder broke. So that force is already going backwards because he broke his momentum. He ended up hitting and then his shoulder broke. She is hitting him. So of course he ain't gonna feel the difference.
When
Hyper her
tested
up.
against you,
See? He hit and then pulled back. His shoulder broke because he was already pulling back. She followed through.
Houston Alexander, a light heavyweight MMA fighter, Lucia hit just as hard as him. Yes, this makes her one of the hardest hitting women of all time.
He did the same thing.
Widely regarded as the greatest female boxer of all time.
He did the same thing. And as you can also see in his punch, let me get
100
back to it.
pounds. A seasoned trainer
Yeah,
who
it's-
got
it's
hit
not
by
the same
her
punch.
and another
Like-
Olympic male boxer said he couldn't tell the difference.
See,
When
she
tested
followed
against
through,
Houston
he
Alexander,
pulled back.
a light heavyweight MMA fighter, Lucia
And again, watch, look where he's at. He ain't up here. He's over here.
hit just as hard as him.
And look, He leaned into it. He didn't twist his waist. He didn't get any power from his hip at all. It is all arm. That's it. All arm. And a glancing blow. That's a glancing blow. He didn't follow through. He didn't punch straight through the target. He glanced the target. That is not the same punch. And I'll tell you right now, for you dumbasses that don't fight, different punches hit with different power. A jab is not the same as a hook. A hook is not the same as a power fucking punch. A fucking haymaker. Not the same.
Yes, this makes her one of the hardest hitting women of.
That is true. I will not take that away from her. But to say she's equal to a man? No. No.
Of all time. Widely regarded as the greatest female boxer of all time, Lucia was undefeated in all her 54 fights with women. In kickboxing, she had 37 fights and 4 world titles. Most of her fights were won by knockout. In boxing, she had 17 fights with 2 world titles. 14 of her fights were by knockout. But what happened when she fought against a man? Fight fans, welcome back to another episode of Striking Breakdowns.
Now, let me point something out. I'm going to make this video into 2 parts because obviously there are 2 more links. So when this gets around, the 30-minute mark, I'm going to stop this video and I'll go on to part 2.
In this episode, we explore how the best female fighter was defeated by a male fighter.
You hear what he said, right? The best female fighter was beaten by just a male fighter. Not the best male fighter. Not in the top 100 fighter. Just a fighter. Okay.
This special event took place when Lucia Riker already had 4 world titles in kickboxing. Training with the legendary Vos Gym from the Netherlands, her corner included the great Ernesto Hoost. By the time of this fight, Lucia ran out of kickboxing opponents and her trainer suggested it could be a good idea to fight a man.
Now, you do realize she's being taught by a true legend. True legend. The guy that she fought. Who the fuck was he trained by? There's a difference. I'll tell you that right now.
Again, that trainer should be fired, right? The trainer that suggested that it was a good idea for her to fight a man should be fired, okay? Because he does not have enough common sense to be a trainer.
Hold on, let me point something out here, Polar Bear. I love China. Had a crush on China. Love China. But to say that she could actually beat men? No. Wrestling is scripted. Remember that. Wrestling is scripted. Because if she could beat a man, why the fuck did X-Pac beat the shit out of her and abuse her? X-Pac wasn't even a strong man. But he could beat the shit out of her. Everybody knew that. He abused her physically. It's not like she fought back. She obviously had the size and power to do so. But again, there's a difference between reality and scripted. And I may love wrestling, but it's scripted.
Right? He's not looking out for her best interest. Okay? He's not looking out for her best interest.
Her opponent was Som Chai.
And here's the thing. Why are you not satisfied with what she's accomplished, right? She's been...
Right. Why does she need to try and beat a man? But you'll see what happened to her.
Nicknamed the Lady Tyson. She's won all types of championships, awards. She's accomplished everything. You should be satisfied with that. You don't need to fight a man. We don't need to see it. We don't want to see it. We already know what the outcome is going to be, right? But she wanted to do it anyways.
Chai JD, an amateur fighter in Australia.
Amateur fighter. Not a champion. Just an amateur fighter.
He had a total of 14 fights and was a local amateur champion.
Just a local amateur champion.
The first round was closely contested, but Som Chai landed the cleaner power shots.
And I guarantee you, he was going to try and take... The reason why she dominated at first is because I've been there. I've been there. I'm guilty of this. When I've had to face women from the martial arts as well as amp guard and other combat sports or combat-related things. It started by taking it easy on the female. because, don't want to hurt a woman, But then it was one of those, nah, fuck that. As one of my instructors said, Korean said, if she's on the mat, they are your enemy. Even if it's one of your friends on the mat, when we drop our hand, they are your enemy. Period. Go to beat them. And I was like, I don't want to hurt them. Beat them. That was it. It was kind of like Silva, or what's his name from the Karate Kid also, where it's like, finish him, that's what I had to be taught. It's like when that referee or whatever says go, it was go.
He even knocked Lucia's head back with a big cross.
And see, once you start landing a couple of them power shots, right, straight to the face, because she was getting 8. Okay, she was getting 8. She started seeing them stars. I'm telling you, she started to rethink this whole gender equality thing. Okay, she probably started to rethink, oh shit, I had signed up for this. I guarantee you again, this guy, he had way less experience. He's an amateur. She's fought way more fights than this guy has. Okay.
And also was trained by better people.
And her technique probably is better than this dude's technique. Okay, probably better. So, outside of just the biological difference, she's probably better than he is, just technically as a fighter. Okay, and from an experience standpoint. However, that's still not enough to override basic biology. It's just not enough.
The Thai also swept Lucia multiple times, once with a teep, another with a roundhouse, and then once inside the clinch. Somchai didn't look like he had better technique, but he was clearly faster and more powerful.
Because
he's a man. Strength, speed, power, all of that. We will beat you. Period.
Biology. And that's what I was just saying. He probably doesn't have better technique because he doesn't have his enough experience, right? And he's also average, okay? He ain't all that great, okay? She's one of the greatest for a woman, okay? But again, when it comes to speed, strength, power, bone density, muscle mass, all these things matter, okay? And you can't override that with technique. You just can't. You can't. At least not when it comes to men versus women. Now, if it's a man versus a man, okay, then yeah, technique matters, okay? If they are close enough in strength, speed, endurance, athleticism, all that good stuff. If they're close enough, yes, technique matters, okay? Right. And I mean, even if they're not that close as a man versus a man, I think technique can actually help you out a lot. But you have to be in a certain range, okay? It has to be close. When it comes to a man versus a woman, it's not even close. So technique isn't going to matter all that much. It's only going to go so far.
Lucia was also able to sweep Somchai once, and for most of the round, she was the one pressing forward with aggression. Overall...
Well, she was pressing because she was like, she's going to get her ass whipped. So she was pressing. However, things changed.
Somchai covered the long range much more effectively than Lucia. This was important for him to be a sniper, allowing him to land clean shots without a response.
Oh, look at that.
It's obvious here that it wasn't the technique that made the difference. It was the power and speed.
Bruh, facts.
In the second round, it was clear that Lucia wanted to overwhelm her opponent and tried to steamroll him. She was able to put Somchai onto the ropes and start swinging. After landing several big punches, she had her opponent cornered. But that's when he started swinging back.
Right. He was, as I said, he was taking it easy on her. But when she pressed it, it was like, oh, this bitch actually, all right.
Landing a left and right hook with an uppercut that sealed the knockout. The fight was immediately called off, and the trainer came in to cradle Lucia. It was a courageous showing by the best female.
Yeah.
And you could tell he wanted to whip her ass at the end. It was like, oh, this bitch ain't playing now. Because as she was going down, he swung 2 more times. He was like, I ain't playing with your ass no more.
Courageous, right? I mean, listen, yeah. She does get credit for getting in the ring, okay? Yep. I mean, she got in the ring with a man. And, I mean, the obvious outcome happened, but she still did it. However, it's not one of those things I'm sitting here, and I'm happy to see. I'm not happy to see this. I hate seeing this. I hate seeing...
I'm sorry. I'm happy to see it. She wasn't forced. This wasn't a gladiatorial slaves and everything. No. She wanted to go in there to try and prove herself, and she got her ass beat. So no, I'm happy to see this. Y'all need to fucking stop. Just fucking stop. But as I said, I'm going to go ahead and finish this video right here. I'm going to go into a part 2 to continue on because there's 2 more other videos. Oh man, I will be right back, y'all. Ooh, don't y'all go away.